We're live.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We did it.
2020, we made it.
Yeah, we're here.
Congratulations, everyone who helped make this a new year.
Yeah. Humanity for inventing time. Got to give a shout out to you. The Gregorian calendar. Shout out
Yep.
to the Roman Catholic Church, I guess, for that.
Yep. Shout out to Tom Nook and
Oh,
KK Slider
very cute. Yeah, there they are.
And Hawkeye
Sure. Yep.
and Yoda
Definitely
for
shout
making
out to
this a new
Yoda.
year.
Ooh, Silver Yoda.
Yeah, fancy Yoda figurine on my desk.
Weird.
But the video game Mount Rushmore that I
Yeah.
just showed you.
Yeah.
The
Amiibos
definitive
and
video
whatnot.
game Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
What'd you do for New Year's Eve, Paul?
We binged a show. I'm just trying to remember which one it was. I think we started season 3 of The Good Place and finished it the next day. So yeah, that's what we did. We binged The Good Place over 2 days.
Right on. Yeah. I feel like that season starts weak, but that gets better at the end.
The ending of that season is weird.
It's
a weird
heartbreaking,
ending.
Right?
Oh my god, I hated that last episode. It's just like, oh my god.
I know. I remember it killed my girlfriend. She was like bawling.
It's really sad.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Fucking.
I'm excited for it to return because they're on their like holiday hiatus. I've been keeping up with season 4.
Yep. I think they're back next week for 3 more weeks.
I can't wait.
Yep.
But then it's over for good.
So we decided to, we've been wanting to finish off season 3 for a while, so we restarted it because why not, right? They're like 20-minute episodes. Who cares about rewatching 2 of them just to get that full arc in? So we restarted it, just watched it all the way through, and now we're ready for 4, but we've been watching other stuff in between. What did you do for New Year's?
We and some friends went out to a park in San Francisco that was way too far away and watched some fireworks that get shot up over the bay. And I was under the impression it was going to be like fireworks they were shooting from the park, and that's why we had to go to the park. Because the bay's in between San Francisco and East Bay, and we could have seen those fireworks way better if we had just stayed in the East Bay and went up to like the edge of the water. I don't know why we went all the way to this park, but anyway, it was cold.
Okay.
So yeah,
cool.
It was fine. Fun seeing people. I don't know if I would do that exact activity again though.
I need to ask you if you've seen The Witcher yet. The series.
I have not. Okay. I'm still going through The Expanse season 4, which is great.
And
a lot of, I don't know when I'm gonna get to The Witcher because a lot of shows I like are coming back this month, such as Sex Education,
right?
BoJack Horseman, and Sabrina the Teenage Witch to a lesser extent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
do you care about The Witcher at all?
Been watching it.
Did you read the books or play the games or anything?
I played 3. I'm not the biggest Witcher guy. I plan to watch it at some point when I have a bit of a lull. But you're watching it, right?
We finished it. We binged it in a day.
So you must like it.
It's fucking great. It's really good.
Right on.
I have some issues with some of the casting decisions, but other than that, Henry Cavill is great, and every time he's on screen in The Witcher as Geralt, he fucking steals the show, and you can tell he's having fun and that he's a fan of the source material in the games, because he's fucking stoked to play that role, and it comes across.
Right on. That's good.
Yep. Other than that, yesterday we were like, okay, we need to work more on The Watchmen. So we're at episode 6 now of that. We're going to finish that off. I mean, maybe tonight, depending when we end the podcast, but probably more likely tomorrow.
Episode 6. Is that still the flashback stuff?
So they've already, the episode we had watched before, they had introduced the Asian lady, her tower, and I'm trying to remember it's all kind of a blur when things happen, and I had just watched it. It's kind
It's
of
about to
weird.
get blurrier.
Yeah. Um.
Um, but have they done any flashbacks, like black and white stuff?
No, I don't think so. That must be the episode we're on.
Okay, that's a really good episode. I'd say you have the best they save for the end.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. The last episode I watched was all revolved around Looking Glass. That guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And like he found out a
Some
big
cool
revelation
reveals
by
in
the
every
end.
episode, and yeah, that show finishes off so strong.
Yeah. So we're close to finishing that off, and I'm pretty stoked for that because, like you said, Sex Education is going to be on the docket pretty soon.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
going to
can't
be
wait for
good.
that.
Yep.
Should be good.
Yeah.
John's not here. He's in the States working, I think.
It's
No, wait, MAGfest.
MAGfest. Yeah.
MAGfest. That's what it is. Wherever that is.
Yeah. The Make
So John's
America
there?
Great Fest, obviously.
No, don't say that. No.
Ruined.
Yeah,
Ruined.
that's a good way to that's topical because
Oh no.
I just saw Bombshell.
Oh yeah.
Uh
It was any good?
yeah, it's a good movie.
Okay.
Like it's hard to say if I like enjoy is a weird word
Yeah,
just because
yeah.
the subject matter is just like depressing
Sure.
and
Kind of
just a
like how when
bummer.
people are like, "Yeah, I really enjoyed Schindler's List. That was just a good time." It's like, "No, that's not."
But yeah, Bombshells is good. I'm glad I saw it for sure.
Okay. Cool.
Um, but yeah, John will be back next week. Speaking of next week, getting it right off the bat, that's our Game of the Year show. So
Yeah.
get excited.
Yep.
I know. I think my list is pretty solidly locked.
Okay.
I might move some of the like bottom half games around a little bit.
My list is not locked at all.
Not locked. Okay.
Not at all.
I've had the top 5 locked for a bit.
Oh, really? Okay. Interesting.
Maybe top 4 I've had like pretty like, oh, I know these 4 are like
yeah.
my 4 favorite games of the year.
Yeah. I think I have to look at it that way. Like I think there's 4 or 5 I know are for sure just on the list. So those are probably the top. And then from there I think it's going to get harder.
Right. I think from like 5 to about 8 I'm like, yeah, these should be on the list. I'm not sure exactly the order yet.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 are like, I think these are the last 2, but I also have all like my honorable mentions that could like easily take those last 2 slots.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this next weekend and next few days go if any games have the chance to like bump.
It made me realize 2019 was weird because I didn't fall absolutely head over heels in love with any one particular game, but I liked a lot of them for different reasons. Okay. So it's like, I don't know how to, like, is the reason why I like this game more important than the reason I like this one? Like, how do I fucking order this?
Right.
Yeah. Right. It's been interesting.
But yeah, it'll be a good time. So come back next week for a lengthy episode where we'll run down the best and worst games in our opinions of last year for sure. But
yeah.
But for now, let's just do a regular podcast without John. It's the first podcast of the decade. January 2nd. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck. Sean, why don't you tell me what you've been playing?
I'll happily tell you what I'm playing because I'm excited about them both.
Okay.
You know it. I know it. I just beat Gris.
I do know it. Yeah.
Just before we started recording. That's why we're almost an hour late because I thought I was like 15 minutes towards the end, but it just kept going.
It gave me the opportunity to have dinner, so I was dope. I was down with it.
No, you're welcome for sure. That game's really good. It's like a 3-4 hour experience. Absolutely beautiful. The music's really nice. I believe it won the Games for Change award at the Game Awards.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I believe it did.
I'll fact check, but I'm pretty sure you're correct. Yeah.
Right. I don't think I would have realized the game is about like a mental disorder. I
Okay.
think that's what it is. If someone hadn't like told me that.
What mental I actually don't, besides how it looks, I don't know how it plays or like what the mechanics are.
So it's a puzzle platformer that focuses more on kind of the platforming, but not in any kind of a challenging way.
Okay.
It's not like you need to do things quick or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would kind of match it similarly to like Journey's level of puzzle platforming, where
Okay,
it's like,
sure.
yeah, you do have to like make this one jump, and if you don't, you'll just kind of fall, and you have to climb your way back up the hill, and then you have to make this one jump.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, none of the multiplayer stuff from Journey.
Right.
Um, but similar for Journey of like, it's a really light puzzle platformer. The puzzles aren't going to be that hard. The jumping's not going to be that hard, and you're just kind of going through it. Similarly to Journey as well. Some good sand surfing,
Okay.
which
That's
I
great.
think that's just quickly becoming like, if your game has like some cool sand surfing in it, I'm probably like enjoying that moment of the game. That's just a
Okay.
nice thing to have. Something else did that earlier this year. I remember because it sticks out to me, but I cannot remember what game that would have been.
Does that mean you like
Uh,
steep? Because snow is kind of like wet sand,
See, like
basically.
snowboarding, you mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just different.
Mm-hmm.
It's just different. Not to say I don't that I dislike snowboarding games,
Mm-hmm.
but there's been very few that I've like been really into. Also, just because they don't really make them anymore.
Sure. And because
Like the
snow
last one was
sucks, and sand is kind of okay, but it gets everywhere.
sure, sure. Um, but yeah, Gris. So as you're playing through it, you're adding color into the world. So like the whole first stage is kind of grayish, and then you unlock red, and then you get a new color and a new color, and it just kind of makes the game prettier and prettier, and it kind of looks like a watercolor painting the whole time, and it's just an absolutely gorgeous game. Um, Very enjoyable. So yeah, I picked that up on iOS over the break since it was on sale for like $1.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would recommend Gris.
Okay.
Um, and then on the other spectrum of like reasons I would enjoy a game, and let me just load this up so I get the name right.
Okay.
This just popped up on Twitter randomly. I
Is
watched
it
like
this
five.
Kuukiyomi considerate?
Yes, Kuukiyomi, consider it. I should have just looked at my list that I have on the notes.
Yeah,
This is a
you
weird
wrote it
game.
down.
This Yeah,
Uh-huh.
this is a $5 eShop game on the
Uh-huh.
Switch. Very Japanese, but it's got like subtitles, so you're fine. It's basically like a light version of WarioWare, but all the mini games are about how considerate of a person you are
Oh,
or you
fuck.
want to be in each situation.
Did this come out in 2019? Do I have to add it to my Game of the Year list?
It did come out in 2019. It actually came out in December 20th. This is
Wow.
what kind of like the tweet grabbed me. It was like, oh, late game of the year contender, and then this weird little like 5-second trailer. And I was like, $5, I'll give this a try. What is this thing?
Yeah, I think
Um,
I could just buy this with fucking those Nintendo coins or whatever. So I might
right,
just get
right.
this.
So like, so it's weird. You have to just go into it knowing that it's just like it's just a weird thing.
Okay.
So let me give you some examples of these scenarios you're gonna have to do. And again, you have like 4 seconds before the next mini game just happens. I'm on mini game like 60. Like it just kind of just keeps giving me them. They also have a
Okay.
quick mode.
Uh-huh.
Like the first. Let me load up this menu. So
Okay.
you get the full Kuukiyomi experience.
Okay. These screenshots are great because they're all completely different.
They're weird. So first off, like because it's Japanese, the
Yeah.
menu is actually like vertical. And I don't think my Switch is gonna.
Oh.
I don't think my There we
Yeah,
go.
there it is.
Now it's
Okay.
focusing.
Yeah.
But that's just because that's the way Japanese is written. Like you play it landscape, but
Right.
when they when they translated it, they just wrote the word in English beside it in a way that you'd have to like look at it sideways. So your options
That's
are
hilarious.
consider it,
Uh-huh.
like 2 words, consider it,
Yeah.
quick consider it together, which I'm very interested in knowing what the
Yeah.
multiplayer mode is, and then options. Quick considerate are they're like packs of them kind of that you'll go through. There's set 1, 2, and 3. I've only done set 1 so far. But on consider, what number am I at? So I can continue from last session. I am on, yeah. So I am on number 60, and I'm just gonna pause that because I don't need to play it right now. So one of the first ones is like you're on a train. So the whole game is you are going to control whatever is red on screen. The whole game is black and white.
Right.
Looks very much like a Rhythm Heaven like graphics if it was just
Kind
black
of.
and white. So
Sure.
everything's
Yeah.
kind of like hand drawn.
Mm-hmm.
You control whatever's red. So you're a passenger on a bus. It just shows like a line of seats. You're sitting in the middle of like kind of an open space, and then like a couple gets on, and you have 4 seconds to decide. Do you just leave the guy sitting there, or do you move your red dude to the side so that they can both sit down together?
Right.
And that's the mini game. One thing I don't like is it doesn't really like tell you how you did. Like what it'll do is after every like 5 or 10 of them, it'll give you just like a really quasi like you were moderately considerate. You were vaguely considerate. You were very,
Okay.
very vaguely considerate. And it's like, well, I don't know which one of them I did like good and which one I did bad. I just did like 10 in a row. So that's a bit of a bummer because I sometimes I honestly can't tell what they wanted me to do in
Uh,
this scenario. Um and then some of them are just weird. So I can't tell if this is maybe just like like a cultural difference thing, but some of them are like what they consider being considerate is odd. Like there was one where I guess you must be at some kind of convention, but anyways, your character's like, "Oh, I really want to get A dot," so like the initials AA's autograph. And
okay.
then it cuts to a scene where you're walking towards 2 booths. One has AA, one has BB, and AA has a line and
Yeah.
BB doesn't. What
Yeah.
do you do?
You go to BB to make him feel better.
I guess, but like my character's not even interested in BB. They want AA's autograph. So like
You got to think
I guess
Japanese,
that
man.
well, so I went to BB. Like I assumed, okay, maybe they want me to spend time with the person who has no line, but at the same time, it's like, is that actually like being considerate? Like my character's interested in AA.
I mean, it's not being considerate to your own heart, so I
I
guess not.
like yeah, there's some weird ones. There's also like weird things like your character's on a date with a girl, and then so the two of them are moving forward, and there's 2 buildings. One says Robocon, and one says Romcon. Like sorry, Rom-com, as in like romantic comedy,
Yeah, or robot convention.
or Robot Convention. So which
Yeah.
one's more considerate?
So here's the thing. What if you're dating an
You have 4
engineer?
seconds. Which one's more considerate?
What if you're dating an engineer that really wants to see those
3,
robots?
2, 1. All right, moving on to the next minigame. I have
I,
no idea how that ranks,
all right.
and it
I
won't tell you.
So here's the thing. Instead of me buying this game, why don't you just give me scenarios and count down like that and then tell me if I rank good or not?
That's the thing is like I wish it gave me some kind of feedback.
Yeah.
But also I think there's something kind of like almost meditative of just like I'm just going to do these scenarios and like
Yeah.
that's just life. And
Yeah.
I'm curious how high it goes because the main mode I'm at 60 already. Like it, like how high is it going to go? Who knows?
I mean,
They range
I'm
from.
reading the thing here. It tells me how many problems there are. If you want me
Oh,
to,
can you tell me?
it says 100.
Okay, so it's a pretty short game. Okay,
Yeah,
I was hoping there would just be like an obscene number of these things.
just like a million problems to solve.
Yeah, but I mean it is $5, so
Yeah,
that makes sense. Anyway, so you kind of see what the gameplay is. I'm curious how that would work in a multiplayer, unless it was just like go back and forth and who can be the most considerate.
from what I'm assuming just by looking at screenshots here, I'm guessing one of you is the red character and one's a blue character, and then you both
Like who
control.
can more quickly do the considerate option?
Maybe because like the one screenshot I'm looking at right now is the one you were talking about a boyfriend and girlfriend needing to sit down on the train. The red character can move over and so can the blue character. There's like a space in between them, and like there's another space there. So maybe just like if you both moved over or something, or like if the blue character got up and the right character moved over, like which one's more considerate? I get, like, I don't know how this works. I don't get. And then it sounds like you don't know how it works either because it doesn't tell you.
It's just like it's extremely obtuse.
Yeah.
Which there's something kind of nice about that, but at the same time, like I just wish I knew if I made the right choice or if I made the wrong choice. Like that's fine. I want a little bit more feedback. But anyways, this game's $5. I think it's worth just seeing because it's a weird thing, and I just want to support these weird little things that come out.
I'm definitely taking a look at this. Again, I'm pretty sure I have the coins to get this for free, so I'm definitely looking at this.
So I'll give you another scenario.
Okay.
Your character is sitting in, I guess what it is like on a bunch of chairs with some other people, like an audition waiting room.
Okay.
To audition.
Sure.
And your character, who is for whatever reason like obscenely overweight. Everyone else looks like a normal person, and you look very large in like an unhealthy fashion.
Okay.
And you're like sweating, and you're like, sure. You're a little unsightly. I don't get why. Anyway, your character is thinking to themselves, I really hope I get the part. No, I really want to be like the Yellow Ranger, something like that. They want to be the Yellow Ranger. Sure. And then from off screen, a word bubble pops in saying, all right, who's up for the Yellow Ranger? And you have to raise your hand. And then it's like a two-parter. In the second one, you're in costume. And I think you still like visually look overweight. I don't get, that has nothing to do with anything, by the way.
Okay.
You have to then match the pose where you would be in like the lineup. Like there's a clear, obvious, like, oh, and my character should be doing this. You have to then do that. And then it moves on.
Okay.
I don't know.
So I know Japanese sense of humor is very visual, so that just must be a funny gag that they put in.
I guess. What does that have to do with being considerate?
If anything, it's so ironic that a game about you being considerate is just like showing some overweight slob and like as the point of laughter for people.
I don't get it. Let me load up one of these quick considerates so I can just read you like the intro / tutorial.
Okay.
It's just such a weird thing. All right. Quick considerate. Set 1.
Can I say, by the way, that I love the winner for Games for Impact for the year gets like 2-minute talk time. This stupid fucking considerate game is getting like half an hour. This is why people should listen to the top-down perspective.
Here, I'm going to read this. There's 2 pages. So here's the first page. This is a space where you are free to consider things as you like. There is no one here to stop you from being as considerate as you please.
As you please.
And then I move on to the next one. After considering the situation, move the red object on the screen. Sometimes there may be nothing to move. Just do what you consider the appropriate action. If you wish to stop playing, press the plus button or the minus button.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Go.
There's something
safe
nice
space
about
to
the
be
simplicity.
as considerate as you want. Like,
yeah, thank God. That's what we need. Safe spaces for being a normal human being.
Yeah. Maybe this should have won Game for Change.
Honestly, maybe.
Anyway, that's Kuukiyomi. Consider it. And it's $5 on the eShop.
Yeah.
It has my recommendation.
Yeah, this sounds great. Honestly.
Yep. I look forward to seeing what you think.
Yeah.
That's all I've been playing though, Paul. What have you been playing?
I finished Death Stranding. I completed it.
All right.
I know exactly where that's going to be talked about for Game of the Year without spoiling anything. I know exactly where that is.
Okay. All right.
I played that Totally Accurate Battle Simulator preview.
Oh yeah? What did you think? I feel like you would enjoy this game.
It's really fun, and I was sad that it ended. I was like,
Okay,
oh man, I
right
wanted to
on.
go on longer.
I want you to give me. They don't have to be in any kind of order. Your top 3 units and why, and then if you can also give a visual description.
I really like Mammoth because it's the first big bulky thing you get, and it's
That's like a
googly
woolly
eye,
mammoth, right?
the woolly mammoth, and its googly eyes and just kind of like the way it throws itself into stuff is just hilarious to me.
Yep. Actually, before we get into this, sorry, why don't we explain what tabs is?
Yeah, okay. So Totally Accurate Battle Simulator is basically you get a stage, like an arena or whatever, and in this arena, it's split completely in half. On one side is like a red half or whatever that you can't do anything with because that's the computer side or the AI side or whatever. The other half is you have the ability to place down units, and units cost a certain amount of resources, and it like you just basically see what you're up against first, and then you place units to try to basically kill all their units and win the battle,
Right.
essentially. Yeah, so it
So
starts
it's like
off.
the it's like Dota Underlords, but the
Yeah,
original.
yeah, exactly. It's like the original Dota Underlords. Um,
Auto chess. It's the original auto chess. That's what I wanted to say.
yeah. Um, so it starts off very small with like cavemen with clubs and stuff or whatever. And like you can choose, I think, cavemen with clubs and cavemen with shields if you wanted to, like protector units or whatever. And then it continuously gets like harder and harder where the AI has access to something that hits harder or does something that could like fuck up your last strategy essentially. So you have new units that you might be able to use to like combat that or whatever. And it's
Right. And
just
it should be said that like all these characters are basically like gang beast figures.
they're all silly rubber boys basically, where they're just kind of like flopping around like all crazy when they move. So like the spear guys will just like throw a spear and then fall over from the like momentum of it, and they're just like
Yep.
wobbly boys. Yeah. And they all have googly eyes, which is one of my
Yep.
favorite aspects of
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Oh, also I should say, to turn the tides of battle in your favor, you can actually like pick a unit and like take it over, so you become the googly eyed whatever, and like you can maybe think a little more strategically about maybe not standing in the way of the minotaur that's like about to charge or shit
Right,
like
because the
that.
way the computer works, or how the battles work, is they just kind of push everyone into each other and just let
Yeah,
them do their like one attack,
yeah,
basically, and kind of just see what happens.
yeah. And what this means is that you might have a winning strategy that loses every time. Because sometimes it just something goes weird or whatever.
Yep. Yep.
Because
All right.
there's like
So you
physics
said
going on.
Mammoth is one of your favorites. Give me 2 more.
Mammoth is one of my favorites for the silliness. Zeus is really fun because he just kills a bunch of shit. Like he's fun.
Right. Lightning, right?
Yeah, the lightning.
Yeah.
In that same like pantheon or whatever of characters or units, I really like the snake archers that literally shoot snakes that attack enemies. Those are
Right.
good.
I'll give you my 3 favorite, and they're all just because they're silly.
Okay.
The wheelbarrow guys.
Oh, they're either great or terrible because I've won battles with them that like I was supposed to lose, and I've lost battles I was supposed to win because they fell off the edge.
Right. They're just guys with wheelbarrows just running
Just
full
running.
speed ahead.
Yep.
Um, the headbutting dudes.
Oh, the like hobbits or whatever, the halflings that just
No,
jump at
no.
people.
There's one where they point their head and then just lunge forward, like
Oh,
vertical
okay.
spear tackle someone.
Okay.
I like those guys. And then the crow ones that like throw
The
crows and shit.
scarecrows? Yeah, the scarecrows are
Yeah,
weird. Yep.
those I like those 3 quite a bit.
The scarecrows are annoying because if you try to like take it over, you actually just can't see the battlefield because it's like hanging on a post or whatever. So it's just like obstructing your vision. You can't see shit coming at you, which is hilarious.
Right, right.
Yeah,
It's a
that thing's
good
fun.
game.
It is actually very good. Yeah, it's just fun is the thing. It's like if you want a tactics game but you don't care about tactics, essentially. It's just dumb, but like there are there are ways that you will just lose forever, so you still need to like put the right units down. It's weird. It's hard to explain, but people should try it out for sure.
It's like watching. It's like when you put like 8 or like 4 or 8 just computer players in Smash Bros. Just to watch them fight each other.
Yeah,
But the game is actually setting you up with like different fights you need to go through, and you need to figure out, okay, which computer generate or controlled characters would I want to match this up against?
right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're all just goofy and fight like gang beasts.
Yeah, exactly. So Game of the Year talks are coming, which means I'm trying to catch up on a bunch of stuff, even if it means just playing a few hours of them. So I installed and played a bunch of Rage 2, and I'm kind of liking it. It's kind of it's been a nice chaser to the weird pretentiousness of Death Stranding to just play a dumb shooter. And it made me realize, though, that I really wish Doom Eternal was out, because that's what I really want.
Right on. Yeah. Right on. Yep.
But Rage 2 is kind of fun. Like, it's so generic and forgettable that I had to write it down
Much like Rage 1.
Yeah, I had to write it down in our list right away after I played it one night because I knew I would forget I played it. So, but that's a thing.
Good sign.
Good sign, yeah. Just dumb shooter. This is a game that John alerted us to in a DM, but there is a Picross 3D type of game on PC called Voxelgram, and I'm playing that in my spare time, and I absolutely love it.
Right, I installed it. I haven't played it yet. Is it just Picross 3D?
Basically, yeah. It makes me wish it was touchscreen though, but I got used to the way the mouse moves for the most part.
Maybe you need a touchscreen monitor.
There is an option for touchscreen, so I'm sure that would work. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what you say about it because you're the one that cares more, I think, about that. But sure. It's super fun. I've been really enjoying it. I'm about 3/4 of the way through. And in the same way that I installed Rage 2 to just like try to get some time into it, so I know if I can talk about it for whatever reason for Game of the Year, I finally was like, okay, I need to see Indivisible, and I don't know what to do with my list now because that game's fucking amazing. I really like it.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to play it. It just seems like the most, of course, this will be on Game Pass any day now kind of game.
It does seem like that for sure. Yeah.
So I'm trying to like play a game of chicken with Xbox here.
Yeah. So what I can say is that it does have its share of like small problems that I think comes from just like a small studio Kickstarter type game, without like a fully realized vision of what they're doing. Primarily that it's an RPG, but you don't get anything out of the battles. Like you get levels, which gives you a little bit of health, but like overall you don't get like, you can't grind for items or like money or anything like that to buy new items. It's all kind of just like from hidden objectives and items in the world that you can get. It's very Metroidvania-y in that way. So it kind of seems like a pain, like it seems like there's a lot of times where you're just like, I just don't want to like do some battles because I need to get through this part and I want to do the boss thing, but they're kind of thrown in there and I get like nothing for it. And this wouldn't be too big of an issue, but the way the battles feel in the game is that all the enemies have a lot of health since you're playing 4 characters at once instead of 1 character. So to compensate, the characters are very, very tanky. And it can be really like time consuming to get through some of those fights. But like, I really, really like the design of each character. Represents like a different button on the different face button, and the way like you use them to interact with each other and timing based attacks and stuff like that. You can kind of combo some stuff, and it's really, really cool. I really like the system a lot, and that animation is gorgeous. The voice acting is on point and great. Some of the writing is stupid, but that's fun stupid. Like it's charming, not like bad stupid, if you know what I mean.
Right on.
Yeah, it's really, really good. That is a treasure that I don't think enough people honestly were talking about. I definitely see the flaws in it, but I'm having such a great time overall that I can easily overlook them.
Nice. Nice. I can see why your Game of the Year list would not be locked.
Yeah, because I was even thinking, Rage 2, and then I was like, nah, if anything, Rage 2 is an honorable mention. I don't think that's a list game. It's
Wow. I felt
maybe.
like no one gave Rage 2 any kind of praise, so I'm surprised to hear this from you.
I mean, it's a dumb shooter. There's no praise to be given, really, but it's fun. Games can be fun sometimes, I
Oh,
realized.
sure.
Yeah. That's all I've been playing, though.
All right. It's January 2nd, so there's still no video game news.
For the
Really.
most
So
part.
let's just
Yep.
let's just do some questions.
Yep.
If you'd like to send a question in, it is topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, and John's P.O. Box. I'll read this first one from Dedinsky. Favorite board card tabletop game?
Card game, like probably Solitaire, but like it kind of doesn't count because I hate doing like the actual card version of it, but I like the because it's such a pain in the ass to clean up. Um, for multiplayer stuff, I really like Four Souls, and like I guess I'll say Magic. In person is fun. Online,
Okay.
it's kind of a shit show. Tabletop, obviously D&D.
Okay.
Board game's hard. Trying to think of like the last board game I played. They're mostly card based.
I just played a bunch of Betrayal over the holiday. That's fun. Betrayal
Okay.
at House on the Hill.
Yeah.
But like my favorite board game is probably, I'm a big fan of like Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert, Pandemic. They're all basically the same game. I like co-op games
Okay. Yeah, sure.
quite a bit.
Did you ever play King
Card
of
game,
Tokyo or whatever? Or King of New York?
I have, yes.
Those are fun.
That game's fine.
Yep.
Yep. I like that game. It's basically Yahtzee.
It is. Yep.
Yep. That's a good one. Card game. I mean, I'm always gonna have a place in my heart for Cards Against Humanity.
Okay.
I have had just amazing times with Card Against Humanity. But on like a more kind of like obscure and like to get some card game cred, Epic Spell Wars is a very
Okay.
good card game.
Uh-huh.
It's very cheap as well. I highly recommend that game quite a bit. So those are like some of my favorites for sure.
Metagame would be like a top contender if I knew more people like close by in real life that talked about video games.
Sure.
That's like very much you need a specific type of person to play this with.
I haven't played metagame in a while. And you're like talking about like, because there's different versions of it. You're talking about like the video game version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't played since like a while back when like a bunch of us got together and played it. And even then you needed like people that kind of like really followed games. Because
Yeah.
they were referencing like, like Spelunky and stuff, which
Yeah.
I'm assuming like a normie wouldn't know.
Sure.
Maybe at this point a normie knows Spelunky. I don't know.
Probably. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep. Rasterman says, as the year's almost ending, thoughts on 2021? And apparently that wasn't a typo. So that's a year away. I haven't really thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah. 2021. My current visa will be up, so hopefully I don't get deported.
Okay. I'm kind of just hoping like I'm alive then. I hope this year's like good and
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah. I saw World War III was just trending on Twitter, so I hope I'm alive.
God.
Um
Oh God.
the new consoles will be out.
Yep.
Hopefully I have them both. I don't see why I wouldn't have them both. I hope there's a Switch Pro. And maybe I have that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope I have not broken any more bones.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
There's my future predictions.
Yeah.
Dedinsky writes in with another question. If you could, did we do this one?
This is the opposite of the one we
It's
did.
the opposite. If you could give one non-Nintendo IP of your choice to Nintendo, which IP would you give them? So who's just dropping the ball with one of your favorite franchises? You want Nintendo to polish it up.
That's a good way to think about it. Huh.
But at the same time, like I could be like, well, no one's doing anything good with Need for Speed and Burnout, but I don't trust Nintendo to do anything good with those.
True. How about something like I'd like Castlevania to not be in the hands of Konami, and I'm sure they could probably do something decent with it.
Like you just want anyone to hold on to Castlevania because
Because
Konami's
they're
making
not gonna
pachinko
do
machines.
yeah, they're not gonna do anything with it. So
Right. Sure.
in that same regard, Metal Gear would be nice to go to Nintendo or like Sony back to Kojima or whatever. That'd be
Right.
nice to just get the stuff away from Konami so other people could do things in those universes.
This one's kind of hard because like I get those are kind of easy answers because it's just like, well, I don't want it with Konami, so give it to anyone. I'm trying to think
What would
like who
Nintendo
would you
excel at?
specifically want Nintendo to get their hands on? And then
I,
I think of more like family friendly kind of stuff, and not a lot of other companies do that.
I would really like Ukulele to go to Nintendo.
That's a good answer.
Let's
Sure.
just
Yep.
let's just
But you liked the last one.
that's what I mean. Is that like let's cut the bullshit here and like let Nintendo make it so Ukulele and the Impossible Lair feels as tight as it should instead of like this kind of little bit wonky jankiness that it had.
Sure.
Get that polish on there.
I don't know if they would do a great job with it, but maybe give them the Viva Pinata license. Make a new Viva Pinata.
Okay. Sure.
Answer.
Conqueror says you are given an unlimited budget to build an escape room. What's the theme? Can be anything. And how difficult are the puzzles? Give an example of a puzzle you put in. Okay. So we build an escape room.
I don't know if I can like come up with a puzzle on the spot.
That's definitely the hard part for sure.
All right. Theme should be kind of easy. What do you do for theme?
See, here's the thing is that it should be kind of easy. And I have no idea because a lot of them have been done. So instantly what happened when I read this out loud just now is that I thought Resident Evil, the house, that's been done like many times actually. So
okay.
I don't know that like should it be a new one? Because I would obviously do that.
Deadly Premonition.
Uh-huh.
At some point you gotta eat the sandwich.
Right. Okay.
What else happens in there?
You got to put the cream in the coffee and then it'll like spell out something for you to do.
Right, FK in the coffee. Yes, definitely for sure. And at one point you go into the weird like red underworld place.
Mm-hmm.
And the national anthem plays or whatever that song was.
And there's a big shitty tree just somewhere.
Definitely a tree somewhere. Yeah. Oh, I think I just hit it out of the park.
What a weird game.
Deadly Premonition 2 coming out 2020.
Death Stranding escape room where you have to move packages from one end to the other.
Okay. Sure. And there's like ghosts in there. Like you get the handprints on the wall. They're like coming towards you. So every now and then you have to like stand still and hold your breath.
While holding like a literal 100 pounds on your back.
Sure. Yep.
That sounds fucking terrible.
That one's not bad. I do like the aspect of like every like 3 to 5 minutes, you have to like pause and just like be as silent as possible. It makes me think of like whenever a video game, and they do this more in like horror games or at like a scary moment where you can't move the controller at all if there was some kind of like gyroscope in there.
Yeah.
Otherwise the thing would like detect you.
Didn't Until Dawn do something like that?
I mean,
there's maybe. A few. I'm not
the person to ask.
Okay, fair enough. And then I guess the puzzle like would literally be some like places would only open up if you put like a certain amount of weight worth of like packages or something that you carried to like open something up. You could
sure.
A pretty rudimentary puzzle. So the difficulty of the puzzles I don't think would be the thing in that theme. I think it would just be the like doing a task that is like labor intensive while also having to be very quiet and like kind of scared.
Sure. Yep. This has nothing to do with either of the themes. I'm just trying to think of a puzzle. I want something where you're controlling some kind of like two-handed rig
Yeah.
where it's like when I move my hands this way, somewhere on the other side of the room, there are hands moving like that. And I have to do something really intricate with like I have unlimited money with like robot arms on the
Yeah.
other side. Like I have to build like a like a card tower or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not one to one. Like I'm controlling hands over there.
Right. So there's like maybe a little bit of a delay, and obviously like
Yeah, there's a really slight delay. Yeah.
depth perception would be completely fucked because you're not controlling. Yeah. That would be cool. Or you know what? Just a third person shooter thing where you only have VR goggles on and like you're seeing from behind you and having to control yourself in the third person where you're
Oh, weird.
moving around.
I think Will Smith from Tested made that early on in VR. Is he made like a third person camera and walked around his backyard? I think there's a video online of him doing that.
That seems like that would be super disorienting. Maybe
Yeah, I
dangerous.
bet. Yeah. VGC Kenny writes, since the PS5 and the Xbox Sex are being released at the beginning of the decade, and console generations seem to be getting longer each generation, what would you think of the 20s as being the single console generation decade? So do you think 10 years?
Mm. I mean, I could see it, but that's a long tail on that.
I think the opposite's going to happen. And much like phones, we're going to get a new Xbox every like maybe not yearly like the iPhone, but I would not be surprised
Every
if
few.
like the Xbox, Series X2
Yeah.
comes out in 2022 and it's pretty similar, but it's just quieter, it's smaller, and it's a little bit more powerful. And
Yeah.
they just keep putting out a new iteration every like 2 years,
Kind of like how you
just
would
like
like
phone.
upgrade a computer essentially, because that's kind of where we're at anyways. We're
Well,
not at the
not
like
like
Mhm.
component parts, like the
No,
computer
no,
that way,
but I
but
mean like
just like phones, where it's like, and
sure.
eventually we're gonna have to be checking like how well does this game run on each version, and then they'll
Yeah.
just stop supporting some of them because they're too old. Although seeing Xbox, maybe they never stop supporting them.
No, they
I could
probably
see them being
would.
like, it needs
Yeah.
to run on every version of Xbox.
Totally.
Um, although now that I say that, back at the 360, they were like, no, Halo 4 does not run unless you have a hard drive.
Mhm.
So maybe they would do that. But I think there's going to be much like we have the half step consoles this year. Excuse me, this generation. There's going to be a not exactly half step, but a upgraded version every 2 to 3 years. I bet.
Do you think there's ever going to be the singularity where they're all just kind of like like buy whichever version of this you want, but it's the same console essentially?
I mean, I think that's the nice thing about the name convention of the Xbox is it's
Mhm.
now just Xbox,
Yeah.
and then they just keep being like, here's the Xbox 2021, here's the
Right.
Xbox 2022 version, here's the
Yeah.
Xbox. I bet that's just kind of where we're headed towards it.
Kind of like how they do Windows. Windows 7, Windows Millennium, Windows XP. Like Xbox is the brand, not the product anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say PC is the brand, but no one ever says like, everyone just says like, yeah, I have a gaming computer. It's not
I
like anyone
mean,
says this runs only on Acer branded computers. It's just no, it runs on gaming computers. It runs on
PC
a PC.
gamers do specifically say that they have Nvidia or AMD or Ryzen now is the new one. So
For the
yeah,
graphics card though, right?
and that's what runs games for the most part.
Right, but it's not like it's gonna only work on like one of those.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I really kind of hope they don't do that for consoles. That's like the one draw I think consoles have is just you buy the one and they find a way to make games work for it for a while. But we'll see.
But I doubt, but even if they do the like smaller steps, it's not like it makes yours worse. Yours is as good as it was. It's just for people who want to spend and get the more powerful one, you have that option.
But it's not if we're
And as
at the
someone
point where it's like this only runs on the new version of PlayStation, not this only works on PlayStation 5S, not PlayStation 5 normal. That's the problem, right? When we
I
get to
mean, they
that
do
point.
that for phones.
I know, and that's what phones are
And
disgusting.
don't they kind of do that with computers? I mean, at some point, your computer will not be able to run the game. you will need to put more money into it.
Yeah, but I'm not buying a whole new computer. I'm buying one component that can run it.
Sure. Yeah, but I don't think yeah. I think this is the closest they can get before it is just a computer. Like maybe they come out with a modular console. I don't think that would happen this generation.
Yeah, modular console would be pretty dope. Honestly, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Sure. I think Nintendo's in a good spot for that. Like, what if they
Yeah,
came out with a dock that actually had some processing power in it?
I know. Like, why doesn't it? That's the thing.
Right.
Is that would be so good.
I mean, it has some, right? Because games do run better.
Uh huh. But like,
Um,
what if
but
like
like,
when you
what if they
plug it
just came
in,
out
it's
with
actually
like,
like a PlayStation 5 now by plugging it in?
right,
Like, yeah,
just a stronger dock? Then they wouldn't have to change the form factor of the actual handheld.
yeah,
Maybe you could even run the light. Maybe you could dock the light in some way.
yeah,
Um, but like, if they came out with a $100 dock,
yeah.
$130 dock that significantly made it run better when it's docked, I might seriously consider that.
Honestly, yeah. Cause like, oh man, imagine so when you have a game or whatever, when they release a game on handheld, it's always going to look kind of shittier or whatever, and that's fine. But imagine the dock, you plug it in, it downloads some firmware or whatever, and that is now like PlayStation 5
Like it
quality
downloads like the
graphics.
4K textures or whatever,
Yeah, exactly. But like you can
right?
still take it undocked, or if like you want like the shittier version mobile, but then you plug it in and it's like the version you would get with the new Xbox. That'd be
Right.
fucking
I mean, the
amazing.
hard part there is you would have 2 different storage things
Yeah.
you need to keep in track of. And
Everything should be
also,
cloud as far as I'm concerned anyway,
I
but
mean,
yeah.
if Microsoft was doing this, I would totally trust them to just have everything synced.
What about
But
Google
Nintendo can't even get,
Stadia?
like, if you have 2 switches,
Yeah.
those don't even sync, which
Nintendo
is
can't even
insane.
get friends lists proper, so yeah.
Like, side note, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a Switch Lite deal and seriously thought like, "Man, the Switch Lite is nice,
Yeah.
but I can't it would literally make my life more difficult if I
Yeah.
bought one." Are
Yep.
you kidding? I am here with money, Nintendo, and they're being like, "Well, if you give us that money, it's gonna be bad for you." Well, then you're not getting my money. Anyway, back
Yeah.
to what I was saying though. The other problem is I bet those games when they are better, um, just because they'd be more intense, I think it would hinder the handheld version of the game.
Mhm.
And not even just from like a graphic standpoint. Like I think of like Hitman, they would have to like take NPCs out.
Yeah.
So you'd be making like two versions of that game now that are drastically different.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'm sure that's one of the main reasons they don't do that.
Man, that's gaming magic if they can get that to work though.
Right?
Literal
Yep.
gaming magic. Okay, final question from I'm 3D Homer. What single year this decade provided the most fertile ground for you to enjoy playing video games, both because of your personal circumstances and the games released? So I'll start this off easy. Even though I didn't think 2019 was an absolutely outstandingly amazing year for games, it was unfortunately the year where I was unemployed and got to play games without hindrance.
Sure.
So
I'm
that's
I'm
cool.
gonna in kind of the opposite way. I'm making the most money I've ever made in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have more money to buy games.
Uh huh.
So 2019 was pretty useful. However, I might put it to 2018 because I think that's when Game Pass came out, and Game Pass has pretty much changed how I get games and like the amount of games I have access to and play.
Right.
Um, like, and there's a reason everyone's coming out with a subscription service now. Like Game Pass has changed the industry, and we are going to get more and more game subscription services. Um, so that was a pretty massive one as well. Also, however, 2017 introducing the Switch and then coming out with Zelda and Mario, that was extremely significant too.
Not only that, but yeah, just the Switch in general with a good way to play all those indie games that I love, like handheld or on TV or computer or whatever.
I mean, we
Like,
did have the Vita,
yeah, we did.
which was definitely indie game focused, but I feel
Mm,
like the Switch was playing a, a bit bigger games,
yeah.
more substantial. And that's again part due to putting a full, arguably one of the best Zelda games ever on it immediately, and then a completely full, fleshed out Mario game
You're
as
right. That
well.
that is definitely arguable. 2017 was a great year, for sure. That's probably the year, honestly. I'm trying to think of like what big things came out. Oh my god. I
I'm just
just
trying to
did.
think more because I can't remember like the release dates of everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just like, I don't want to go back to like my game of the year list, but I'm trying to think more like circumstantial and personal to me. And I just know like the Switch
Switch
has
is huge.
revolutionized plane trips for me. It has changed my commute if I ever get a seat. Um,
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. I feel like there's an obvious answer that I don't know. That I can't remember when games came out, but 2017 was huge. So I'll say that for sure.
All right, that's going to do it for questions this week. If you want to send in questions for not next week, but the week after that, it is topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What's your game of the week?
Indivisible.
Um, I'm going to give it to. It's just so weird. I'm going to give it to Kuukiyomi.
You have to. Yeah.
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 All right. Bunch of housekeeping things for you guys to keep in mind and check out. Um, First off, Paul put together a pinned tweet on our Twitter account that kind of has all of our socials or kind of important things you need to know, such as a link to our Discord,
Yeah.
link to the Patreon, blah, 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 stuff like that. So if you're ever trying to find kind of the important stuff to connect with us or whatever in some kind of way, check out our pinned tweet on Twitter.
It is important to be said. Somebody already said you forgot John's PO box. I did not forget it. That is not a TDP PO box, so I don't want to like put that as a place to send stuff necessarily. Like, I don't know if something ever happens and like John is just like I quit or whatever. I don't want people to just get used to sending shit to him if it's meant for the podcast.
Sure.
People, they can look at his stuff for that.
Yeah, John has that stuff public. So if John wants you to find it, you can find it.
Yeah.
This Sunday will be the last day you can submit your Game of the Year community surveys.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already done that, you have a couple days left to do so. We are going to tally up all the votes from our community and discuss them and announce them during the Game of the Year episode. So definitely make sure you have your lists done or what games you want to have submitted in there.
Yep.
As mentioned at the beginning of the show, our Game of the Year episode is going to be January 9th, which is this coming Thursday. So the next episode,
Yep.
barring anything doesn't come in the way, that's when we're planning to do it. So definitely get ready for that. And also, it is now January. So if you were following along with the Patreon or you've been sitting on the edge, maybe you want to think about becoming a patron, this is probably the best month yet to do it. Not only do you get access to everything in the Patreon, but there's a sticker promotion going on where if you are a $5 backer for just the month of January, you can lower your pledge after that, or you can just cancel. As long as you've somehow sent us $5 on Patreon, I will be mailing out physical stickers. They look real good on water bottles and stuff.
Yeah.
They're the top-down perspective Joy-Con definitive colors.
Yeah.
As someone pointed out, and we didn't realize that. But there's a whole post on our Patreon that's public, so you can figure out how to do that. Again, you don't have to be a recurring member. If you're a $2 backer, you just go up to $3. You can go right back down as long as within the month of January you send us $5 and then direct message the account your address. I will mail you a physical sticker in come February. So this is a great time to do that.
Word.
Last but not least, Time Spinner has finally won the TDP Plus poll. So for January, we'll be playing through that and discussing it at the end of the month.
All it took was John to choose it instead of me, and then it won.
Is that what happened?
Yep.
Okay, I had forgotten, but yes, I guess so.
It's been up there so many times.
It's been up there for quite a while. It's finally the winner. So look forward to that at the end of the month. Um, all right, that's a lot. That's a lot to do. So get excited for next week. We'll be back then with John. Thanks everybody.
Bye.
See you next time.